Supreme Court to rule on Akwetia MP's prohibition case and reveal of contempt conviction. Tonight we get to the courts and we'll bring you more. Council of State begins deliberation on fate of Chief Justice GHOne after President refers 3 petitions demanding her removal. Stay with us tonight as we break down what could likely happen, including the possible appointment of an acting Chief Justice in the coming days. Well, later in the bulletin, New Patriotic Party dares Attorney General to seek legal redress against former appointees accused of corruption, then seeking public sympathy from media. So tonight we have these and many other interesting stories making the 1 hour bulletin. Don't you forget that we'll bring you updates from our world of business. We'll refresh you with some sports stories, and then we'll get onto the international front and bring you some news. Be my guest, stay with us the next 1 hour as we bring you all these stories and many more.
The NDC, Bernard Bediako-Bedu, also responded strongly to that. And the lawyer for the Electoral Commission, Justin Amenuvo's point was very simple. The court is a court of record, and so whatever was before the court when that decision was making as what the Supreme Court lawyers of the interested party, the NDC parliamentary candidates, Henry Boakye-Yiadon, opposed clearly and said at all material time the applicant was aware, NS Yaokumi was aware of processes, he was served with the processes, and so the High Court did not breach any rule. One issue that came to the fore was the issue of Gazette. As the time that they were making that particular depositions in court, was the Gazette published, and they indicated that the Gazette was public. First, let's hear from the counsel of the interested party, that's the NDC parliamentary candidate.
This is instructive. In fact, that is their case, that it happened without a Gazette notification. Per what is before the Supreme Court, was there a Gazette notification or not?
There was Gazette. Why did they ask the court to prohibit Gazetting? That was the question. You know the Gazetting. Why did they say the court should prohibit Gazetting? Okay. As at 2nd of January 2025. So please, let's wait.
It is an interesting scenario at the Supreme Court, but of course the parties will have to wait until the April 30, where the Apex Court, a 5-member panel of the Supreme Court presided over by Justice Gabriel Pwaman, make a determination in relation to the two separate applications. But one that is key is in relation to the contempt conviction in which the applicant, NS Yaokumi, is challenging. But until then, the conversation will still continue as to what will become the fate of him. For now, the interim injunction on the High Court still holds. But what is clear is that the Apex Court of 5, including Justice Professor Henrietta Mensah-Bonsu,
Araba Isaba Saki Tokono once again has her fate in the balance following 3 petitions to the president for her removal. In December 2024, legal scholar Professor Kweku Asari, in a 19-page petition, asked for her removal over alleged misbehavior and incompetence. Then President Akufo-Addo, on 6th January, in consultation with the Council of State, dismissed the petition, concluding it did not disclose a prima facie case warranting further action. The then presidency also indicated the petition was submitted with, howbeit, under a newly constituted Council of State and a different precedent. Although details of the petitions and petitioners remain sketchy, former director of the Ghana School of Law, Kweku Asari, says the Chief Justice is the architect of her own problems.
It raises the question of interpretation, so that even if there's no issue of interpretation, you raise one for yourself and decide. When you do that, you bring problems. When Tokonu has brought all these ugly noises about her by herself. And you've been a community. she has stabbed herself, wrongly in the foot.
He, however, urged the Council of State to review the petitions dispassionately and cautioned against interference by the president.
It is a body very distinguished, very capable. Let us allow them. Let us allow them. Don't let the president attempt to interfere, to dictate how their mind should go or where their mind should go.
However, private legal practitioner Wayo Ganamanti believes the petition is politically motivated.
It's all political, and the two political parties, both of them, when they are on each side, this is how they play. I have always felt that we should allow
3 months ago. But if you look over the last 7 years, and we started looking from 2017 when there was a change in government, in fact, this petition that we are seeing now will be the 4th attempt to remove a Chief Justice from Ghana. Now, right over here is the first petition from 2018. Now, this is Chief Justice Sophia Ekufu, who is currently a Council of State member. Now, in 2018, ASEPA went to court, that's Alliance for Social Equity and Public Accountability, led by its executive director, Mensa Thompson, went to the presidency, with a petition that the Chief Justice, the Attorney General then, and the Deputy Attorney General had defied some African Court human rights instructions that were given. And so, for that matter, they engaged in incompetence and misconduct. Unfortunately for ASEPA, the president did not pay heed to their petition. Now, apart from this, in 2021, there was also another petition, this time to Chief Justice Enin Yeboah. Now, this was also by ASEPA, that is the Alliance for Social Equity and Public Accountability, ASEPA once again, which filed a petition for the removal of Chief Justice Enin Yeboah. And in this case, they are the first time asking that Chief Justice Saki Tokonu be removed. President Akufo-Addo, on the 6th of January, as was in the report, dismissed that application, but here we are again, today, the 23rd of March. So yes, in the last 6 years, there have been 4 attempts at removing the Chief Justice. The next question someone will ask is, has been established against the Chief Justice. We are expecting the president to announce a 5-member committee to look into the matter. The 5-member committee will comprise 2 Supreme Court judges and 3 persons who are neither members of the Council of State, nor members of Parliament, nor lawyers. So some will say 3 jurors. Now, after that is done, this is what's going to happen. The committee shall inquire into the petition and recommend to the president whether the Chief Justice ought to be removed from office. Then, what we are told, or what the Constitution says, Chief Justice must be removed, the president, per this article, simply has to obey. But there's something interesting before we leave. Now, where the petition, and this is a very interesting part, it says where the petition has been referred to the committee, the president may, in the case of the Chief Justice, acting in accordance with the advice of the Council of State, by warrant signed by him, suspend the Chief Justice. So this is something that is also equally on the books. That if push comes to shove and the committee is indeed set, the president has the right to sign a warrant.
The meeting was not confidential. Well, according to lawyer Atachia, he was only allowed to see his clients briefly today around 11 a.m. and all attempts to speak to them in private was denied. The former Director General of the National Signals Bureau, I'm talking about the NSB, Kwabena Dubois, has been held at the Economic and Organized Crime, that's Yoko, since Thursday, 20th March, after being accused by the Attorney General, that's Dr. Dominic Ayene, for allegedly diverting some $7 million meant for a cyber defense system contract into his.
They were okay. They said they were good. And that was the end of the meeting.
Give us a bit of update, because definitely a lot of people will be waiting to get how they are, the kind of condition in which they are. Of course, they've been held since last Thursday. Not too much of a good situation. So just give us a picture of what you saw, if they were in high spirits or, of course, not a good situation.
Well, I wouldn't say they are comfortable. A few people are comfortable in prison. or behind bars, that is when they are convicted and they know that they will stay there for a long time. But there's a temporary inconvenience they find themselves in. But you could see that they have their faculties together. And I didn't see they were depressed. And they were smiling at me. I was smiling back. And I told them that it's for a while and for the sake of Ghana's democracy, they should endure this, but they'll come out.
A school of thought believes that the Attorney General is embarking on a campaign that promotes sort of a media trial, a public trial. I'd want you to give us your honest opinion on this.
I am of the humble view. I don't want to disrespect the Attorney General. It's a high office. It is constitutionally defined that you do not, with the greatest of respect, say what you think is criminality. Whatever you think is criminality, you are just poisoning the atmosphere. What is criminal is determined by the courts. And when you bring the evidence and it is so found that your evidence is weighty enough so that the scales will tip into the realm called proof beyond reasonable doubt, then conviction can be founded on evidence which has been proven beyond reasonable doubt. And those who have the expertise to do that, they are called the judges. So if you told the general, public, and the media world that somebody is telling this, he has a lot of money in the account, he has several houses, then you've made him guilty before you try him. And I believe that's an aberration. It doesn't sit well with the Constitution. I also, gave to the press to counter what they were saying.
Well, Tasha, it might not have been very easy to have had access to your clients. Can you run us through how you were granted access to him today?
Well, when I got in there, they said the boss of Kweku wanted to see me, so I was shepherded into his office, and then we exchanged pleasantries, and I told him what was on my mind. And I also drew his attention to the fact that I was in the reception of his deputy for close to 3 hours. And when he's...
Lawyer Tasha, we're sure as and when we need you again on this particular subject, we'll be able to bring you back. But once again, we're sincerely grateful for your time tonight joining. Tonight, yes, we've been bringing you several stories tonight. Would want you to make your voice heard on any of the stories that we've shared with you tonight. We're back shortly with more.
Welcome to NLA 590 Mobile.
All right, so thank you very much for keeping faith with us. It's now time for us to bring you insights. All right, so on Insight tonight, what looked like a mammoth burden on Ghanaians has become almost a thing of the past following Parliament's passing of a bill removing the controversial electronic transaction levy. Well, let's travel back to year 2022 when the E-Levy came to play.
In 2021, the government introduced the electronic transaction levy, later to be christened E-Levy. The bill placed a 1.5% tariff on mobile money transactions after the first 100 cedis sent. In 2022, the tax was passed into law.
After considerable deliberation,
Well, they know this is going to transform and change the lives of Ghanaians.
members, the Electronic Transfer Levy Bill 2021 duly read a third time and passed.
Well, this did not augur well with the populace.
It got to a point that when taxes are being taken, I don't see the reasons why I'm being taxed. Here, you could see the reasons for the taxes being taken. We can't feel it. We don't see it. Still, the hardship is there.
The most annoying part is they don't even know what the government used the money for. So, I mean, they were agitated and they didn't like the idea.
In the Miska 120 Guso, be the Tom and Yama missing. Miko, if you say what to me 120, I'm going to me, as I'm saying, this cancer to me.
Now, a new dawn presents itself as the 9th Parliament scrapped this tax on March 26, 2025, forming part of President Mahama's promises for his first 120 days in office.
The request by His Excellency President Mahama to abolish E-Levy. And I am emphasizing that President Mahama has been consistent, has stayed true to his promise to Ghanaians that when elected, he would abolish E-Levy. And that is exactly what we are doing.
In our manifestos, we said we're going to abolish it. In our manifesto, and anybody can trace that, we had said that we were going to abolish it.
Honorable Minority Chief Whip.
The bill is expected to be assented by the president in the fastest possible time after the House transmits it.
Well, Evans,
shape, you know, the E-Levy.
Evans, if you could help me, Evans, the motive of the E-Levy was to widen the tax net. A lot of people in the informal sector are not captured in the tax bracket, so this was to widen the tax net. But if you say the burden on, tell us, how was this decreasing sales or something for you and maybe for the ordinary Ghanaian?
Yes, you know, even though the idea to